Fire Part 2, CRWNS and War. Chapter 1, Return to Thalorian. The royal fleet of Thaloris emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their golden hulls reflecting the light of a blue-white star. At the center flew the flagship Eternal Dawn, escorting Princess Aria home. Inside the observation chamber, Aria stood silently, hands clasped behind her back. The scars of the pirate attack still lingered, not on her body, but in her thoughts. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the flashing red alarms, the pirates, Kane bleeding yet standing between her and death. Behind her, Kane Draven stood at attention, newly repaired armor polished to regulation standards. Despite the repairs, faint scorch marks remained, a reminder of what he had endured. "You don't have to stand so stiffly," Aria said softly. "You're not on a parade deck." "Habit," Kane replied. "Royal ships make soldiers nervous." She smiled faintly, then turned serious again. "My father will want answers, and so will the council." "I'll give them the truth," Kane said, "whether they like it or not." That was what worried her. Before we go on, let me know in the comments where you are listening from. Like and subscribe so you do not miss Part 3. Chapter 2, The Emperor's Judgment. The throne chamber of Thaloris was a cathedral of light and crystal. Towering pillars stretched upward like frozen lightning, and at the far end sat High Regent Vaelin Thalorian, Aria's father. His appearance was human, yet ageless, his eyes glowing faintly with the power of his lineage. Kane stood alone in the center of the chamber, as the council surrounded him in a semicircle. "So," Vaelin said calmly, "you are the human who defied pirates, warlords, and death itself for my daughter." Kane met his gaze without flinching. "Yes, Your Majesty." "You disobeyed evacuation protocol," one counselor snapped. "You engaged in unauthorized combat," said another. Vaelin raised his hand. Silence fell. "You saved her life," the High Regent said. "That outweighs all other concerns." Aria exhaled in relief. Vaelin rose from his throne and descended the steps until he stood before Kane. "Why?" Vaelin asked. "You are not Thalorian, you owed us nothing." Kane hesitated, then answered honestly. "Because it was my duty, and because leaving her behind would have made me less than a soldier." The High Regent studied him for a long moment. Then he smiled. "From this moment forward, Sergeant Kane Draven, you are elevated to Royal Guardian of the Crown." Gasps echoed through the chamber. Aria's heart skipped. Kane blinked. "With respect, Your Majesty, that's not a role humans usually." "Today," Vaelin interrupted, "we change tradition." Chapter 3, SHADOWS of Raven. Far from Thaloris, in the lawless reaches of the Void Scar, wreckage drifted silently. Among it floated a shattered pirate vessel. Inside, emergency lights flickered to life. A hand moved. Kravek, the pirate warlord, opened his eyes. His armor was cracked, his breathing ragged, half his face was scarred beyond recognition. But he was alive. A hooded figure stepped forward, cloaked in black energy. "The Marine should have killed you," the figure said coldly. Kravek growled, "I will kill him." "And the princess." Kravek's remaining eye burned with hatred. "She will kneel, or her empire will burn." The hooded figure smiled. "Good, then our interests align." Beyond the wreckage, massive warships powered up, far more advanced than pirate craft. A new enemy was rising. Chapter 4, A Princess and Her Guardian. Days passed. Kane adapted to his new role reluctantly. Royal corridors replaced battlefields. Ceremonial duties replaced patrols, yet he never strayed far from Aria's side. They trained together in the palace combat hall. Aria insisted. "You can't always be there," she said, igniting a training blade. "So teach me." Kane respected that. She learned quickly, too quickly. "You fight like someone who's seen war," Kane observed. Aria lowered her blade. "My people have hidden behind diplomacy for too long. Enemies sense weakness." Kane nodded. "They always do." Their eyes lingered longer than necessary. Something unspoken grew between them, dangerous, forbidden, undeniable. Chapter 5, ASSASSNS in the Palace. The attack came at night. Silent. Deadly. The palace lights failed simultaneously. Kane was already moving before the alarms sounded. He grabbed his rifle and sprinted toward Aria's chambers. Too late. The door was open. Inside, 3 shadow-cloaked assassins stood over Aria, energy blades humming. Kane didn't hesitate. He charged. The first assassin died instantly. Kane crushed his throat with a single blow. The second dodged, slashing Kane's shoulder armor. Sparks flew. Aria grabbed a fallen blade and struck from behind, driving it into the assassin's spine. The third assassin lunged at Aria. Kane intercepted, taking the blade through his side. He roared and snapped the assassin's neck. Silence returned. Blood dripped onto the marble floor. Kane, Aria caught him as he staggered. I'm fine, he lied. She pressed her forehead against his chest armor. You can't keep doing this. You'll die. He lifted her chin gently. If it keeps you alive, I will. Their lips hovered inches apart. Then, explosions rocked the palace. Chapter 6, The War Declaration. The council chamber burned. Holographic projections flickered as the enemy broadcast cut through every system. The hooded figure appeared on screen. People of Thaloris, it said. Your princess lives because we allowed it. Return her to us, or watch your stars fall one by one. Aria clenched her fists. This is about me. Kane stepped beside her. Then we end it. The High Regent turned to Kane. Human, will you stand with us when war comes? Kane didn't hesitate. I was forged for war. Chapter 7, The Battle of the Crown World. The enemy fleet arrived like a dark tide. Thalorian defenses opened fire. Space ignited with plasma and missiles. Kane led a strike team aboard the enemy flagship. Hallways filled with smoke and screams. Hand-to-hand combat erupted again, brutal, desperate, close. Kane fought through wave after wave, driven by one thought. Protect her. At the heart of the ship, Kravek waited. Scarred, reinforced, enhanced. You should have finished me, Kravek snarled. Kane raised his fists. This time I will. They clashed. Fist against metal. Bone against blade. The duel shook the ship. Kravek nearly killed Kane, twice. But Kane fought smarter now. He lured Kravek into an exposed reactor chamber. A final blow. A final roar. Kravek fell, this time into the star itself. Gone. Chapter 8, Choice of the Heart. The war ended within hours. Victory, but at great cost. Kane lay in a medical chamber, bandaged and exhausted. Aria sat beside him, holding his hand. My father offered me the throne early, she whispered. If I accept, I can't be with you. Kane looked at her quietly. Then rule well. She shook her head, tears falling. I don't want a crown without you. He squeezed her hand, then changed the rules. She smiled through tears. I already have. Epilogue, Legends are born. Months later, Kane stood beside Aria, not as her guard, but as her chosen champion. Human and Thalorian. Soldier and princess. Warrior and queen. Together, they looked out at the stars. Where war once followed Kane Draven. Hope followed him now. And across the galaxy, their story spread. The Marine who defied death. The princess who chose love over fear. And the bond that changed the fate of worlds.